you have to pay for every belt that you win, there's a sanctioning fee. So now if a fighter wins an interim belt, he has to pay a sanctioning fee. If a fighter has just the regular belt, he has to pay a sanctioning fee. Then if a fighter is a super champion, then he has to pay a sanctioning fee. This is not good for the sport of boxing.
Y'all see them though.
The undisputed king of boxing has just been robbed. Less than 3 months after Terence Bud, Crawford shocked the world by dethroning Canelo Alvarez and becoming the new face of the sport. His title was taken from him. Not in the ring, not by knockout, but by a price tag. The WBC demanded a staggering $300,000 sanctioning fee just to let Crawford keep the green belt he had already earned. And when he refused to pay what many are calling nothing short of a ransom, they stripped him instantly. But the real explosion isn't the fee itself. It's the outrage erupting across the boxing world as fans and fighters accuse the system of valuing money over merit, politics over greatness, and bureaucracy over the warrior who proved himself under the lights.
Boxing world.
I am firmly on Terence Crawford's side on this one. What do they do? Like, someone needs to tell me what they do. Because ultimately, again, the commission do the majority of things in terms of you put a fight in Vegas, it'll be the Nevada State Athletic Commission. They will appoint the judges. I mean, one thing they do, I guess, is that clean boxing program thing with VADA. But I'm pretty sure, and I stand to be corrected, that it's the fighters that pay for that as well. So what do they do, people, that they think that they can just go and take a percentage of a fighter's purse? Nah. And look, the green and gold belt is, obviously it's very prestigious. For me, it's the best belt in boxing. I sometimes kind of battle with that in the Ring magazine belt. But that doesn't mean you can just take the piss. It really doesn't mean you can do whatever you want to do, that you can just make up a percentage, that you can ask for a fighter for a percentage of their purse. No. And all this as well, like this thing, like surely before a fight, if you are going to take a percentage, surely that has to be written down, contract, lawyered up. Like, I'm surprised if you, that's why it's even more crazy. It's the wild, wild west. Like surely if this is the percentage you're going to take from Crawford, it's okay, Crawford, you know, in order to have this undisputed fight, which is very prestigious, this is the percentage we're taking from you. And Crawford signs it off before the fight's even done. In fact, before his purse is even given to him, that percentage is already removed. The fact that you are waiting on Crawford just to pay you, big WBC for me is wild within itself.
While Crawford is going scorched earth on social media, promising to expose every hidden hand pulling the strings, another terrifying force in the sport has entered the conversation, and his response is chilling in its simplicity. Isaac Pitbull Cruz, a man who fights as if every opponent owes him a debt in blood, was asked about the scandal, and what he said cut straight through the noise. With just a few blunt words, Cruz exposed the dark, unspoken truth of boxing politics. The truth fans were never meant to hear. The truth that reveals just how deep the corruption runs when belts, money, and power collide behind closed doors.
Him $300,000 plus another $100K something for sanction fees, right? Then he gonna tell me I ain't even apologize? Like, who the fuck you think I am? Boy, you better slap your fucking self. Ain't paying your ass shit. Fuck you talking about pay you $300,000. What makes you so motherfucking better than any of the other sanction bodies? Huh? Answer that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But you, the WBC, think that you better than everybody, don't you? So since you, the WBC, and you got the fucking green belt, which don't mean fucking shit, the fucking real belt is the ring belt, which is free.
To understand why Pitbull's reaction is so significant, you first have to grasp the level of disrespect Crawford just absorbed. This wasn't some polite email dispute. This was a full-scale war. On December 3rd, news broke that the WBC had officially stripped Crawford of his super middleweight title, and Bud didn't wait for statements, interviews, or polished PR responses. He went straight to Instagram Live. eyes locked on the camera, and unleashed a fiery rant that's already becoming part of boxing folklore. With the raw fury of a champion who earned everything the hard way, he sent a message directly to WBC President Mauricio Suleiman, saying, "Who do you think I am? You better slap yourself." A line delivered with so much venom that the entire combat sports world stopped and listened. Because Crawford wasn't just angry, he was declaring war on the system itself.
That don't even make sense. I'm the motherfucker that's putting my life on the line, not you. You ain't stepping your motherfucking ass in that ring. You or nobody else. You or nobody else. So why should I have to pay to carry your belt? You should be paying me. If you want to be truthful, you should be paying me. I don't see it. It irks my nerves how this dude gets on a plane, gets a hotel suite. Him and his buddies, they go out to dinner, 5-star meals, all that, and guess who got to pay for it? Us fighters. We paying for y'all to come out here, have the time of y'all life, stay in the best hotels of y'all life, and it's all done on our dime. It's done on our dime. Do that sound right to y'all? It's crazy, ain't it? We the one out there getting battered, knocked upside our head, and every time we step foot in the ring, we gotta pay them a sanction fee like they the government. We getting taxed.
Think about it. The fighters are the ones risking their lives. They're the ones taking the punches, cutting the weight, and risking permanent brain damage every time they step through those ropes. Meanwhile, the sanctioning body officials, the guys in suits who never take a hit, are using these massive fees to fly first class, stay in 5-star hotels, and eat steak dinners on the fighter dime. Crawford called the green belt a trophy. He pointed out that the prestigious Ring Magazine belt, which signifies a true lineal champion, is completely free. It's a symbol of greatness, not a receipt for payment. By pointing this out, Crawford is doing something dangerous. He's telling the world that the alphabet belts we obsess over might actually be worthless scams designed to drain the fighter bank accounts.
We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000, with $225,000 going to the Jose Sulaiman Boxers Fund, which is to help former fighters in need. And it is just regrettable. Not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route. No response. I wish him the best. But this is not. The WBC is huge, it's great. It's about greatness. And
Think about it. The fighters are the ones risking their lives, taking punches that shake their skulls, cutting weight until their bodies scream, and stepping into a ring where one wrong move can change everything forever. Yet the sanctioning bodies, the men in suits who never take a single blow, demand massive fees so they can fly first class, stay in luxury hotels, and enjoy steak dinners on a fighter's dime. Crawford didn't mince words. He called the green belt nothing more than a trophy, reminding fans that the prestigious Ring Magazine belt, the true symbol of lineal greatness, costs nothing. It isn't a bill, it's an honor. And by saying this out loud, Crawford is doing something dangerous. He's exposing the possibility that the alphabet belts the sport worships might be nothing more than overpriced scams designed to bleed fighters dry while pretending to crown champions.
Real fan of the sport, you would have, said congratulations instead of having that little smirk on your face, all mad and pouting. But listen though, you should have took the money and you should have been thankful and grateful that I was rocking your belt around as your champion. as your champion, the WBC champion, the undisputed champion at that. But you want to make it about you. You want to say, oh, well, you stripped me. Like, I've been stripped before. The IBF just stripped me when I was at 147. Doesn't matter. I'm still considered the undisputed champion. I'm still the champion in the division. Because you know why? The only belt that's recognizable as the champion is the ring belt, baby. That's the #1 belt in the division. That trumps all belts.
Think about it. The fighters are the ones risking their lives, taking punches that shake their skulls, cutting weight until their bodies scream, and stepping into a ring where one wrong move can change everything forever. Yet the sanctioning bodies, the men in suits who never take a single blow, demand massive fees so they can fly first class, stay in luxury hotels, and enjoy state dinners on the fighter's dime. Crawford didn't mince words. He called the green belt nothing more than trophy, reminding fans that the prestigious Ring magazine belt, the true symbol of lineal greatness, costs nothing. It isn't a bill, it's an honor. And by saying this out loud, Crawford is doing something dangerous. He's exposing the possibility that the alphabet belts the sport worships might be nothing more than overpriced scams designed to bleed fighters dry while pretending to crown champions.
Now, since Canelo is no longer a belt holder coming into his next fight, a fight that's still expected to make a lot of money due to Canelo's popularity and ongoing contract with Riyadh Season, this means that for the first time in 7 years, not a single sanctioning body will benefit from Canelo's earnings. So the sooner Canelo becomes champion again, the better for them. But for the time being, they'll have to rely on Terence Crawford as their sanctioning fee provider. These sanctioning bodies make a lot of money from Canelo being their champion. Like, why did you think there wasn't any pressure coming from them when Benavidez was Canelo's mandatory? It's because if Canelo lost, then they'll have to rely on Benavidez and his $7 million purses. And if they decide to bully and pressure Canelo, and Canelo says, you know what, screw it, and decides to vacate the belt instead, then it's the same thing. They lose the benefit of a Canelo.
So where does Pitbull Cruz fit into this growing storm? In the middle of his own fight week, preparing to defend his title against Lamont Roach Jr., Cruz was confronted by reporters expecting fireworks. Maybe support for Crawford, maybe rage at the system. Instead, he delivered the most soldier-like response imaginable. No shouting, no frustration, just a calm acceptance of the battlefield he's chosen. We have to pay, he said, a cold, pragmatic reality check that cut through all the noise. Cruz explained that he respects Crawford's stance. But for him and his team, these sanctioning fees are simply the cost of doing business. We stay clear of that drama, he added. To Cruz, the fees aren't corruption, injustice, or an insult. They're just another obstacle, like an awkward southpaw or a questionable referee. You don't cry about it. You handle it and march forward. And that's what makes this moment fascinating. Crawford, the rebel king trying to burn the system down, protect his pride in his pocket.
Subriel Matias tested positive for Ostarine. He's the WBC champion. You guys are fighting for the interim. WBC gave him like a year probation. He's still facing that guy Smith in like a month or so. Just what are your thoughts on that he tested positive and no, they're not taking the belt. Doesn't seem to be really facing any consequences. What's your thoughts on that?
Bueno, ¿qué opinas de la falta de consecuencias ante la situación de Subriel Matías, que dio positivo de Ostarina? La Comisión Mundial de Boxeo le dio un probation de un año, pero más allá de eso, él sigue peleando dentro de un mes, no parece que pasa nada. ¿Qué opinas?
Pues es algo que ya no se vuelve limpio y creo que deben de tomar cartas en el asunto para ya ser más estrictos en esta parte, porque al final del día se está convirtiendo ya algo normal que cualquier boxeador lo esté haciendo. Igual con Jenny Beck ya salió igual con la misma o probablemente con la misma dosis, entonces ya tiene que haber alguna sanción más fuerte y ya no debe de haber ningún tipo de porcentaje de tolerancia.
In the same interview, Cruz shifted to a topic that paints an even darker picture of modern boxing. The normalization of cheating. When asked about fellow champion Subriel Matias, who recently tested positive for the banned substance Ostarine, Pitbull's tone changed instantly. His calm acceptance of sanctioning fees vanished, replaced by real anger. This, unlike the politics and payments, was something he refused to tolerate. Cruz condemned the sport for becoming far too lenient, arguing that drug violations are now treated like minor inconveniences instead of career-altering crimes. In his eyes, the sport is slowly normalizing his wallet.
It's free! How you love that? $180,000 free. How much your belt cost? I wonder, how much your belt cost? Huh? I don't see no receipts on your belt. It's crazy. Y'all be having so much taxes on these belts. You got some nerves. It's crazy that you can sit up there and have all these belts. You know, you got the WBC silver, the WBA intern, the whatever belt y'all got, and you taxing these fighters every time they fight, and you claim that you for these fighters. You're not for these fighters. You probably worse than the promoters. But hey, I wish you the best, you know? I wish you the best.
Connect the dots here. On one side, you have a sport willing to strip a legendary champion like Crawford in an instant over a financial dispute. No hesitation, no investigation, just punishment. On the other side, you have fighters failing PD tests, and the response is slow, muddled, and buried under layers of bureaucracy. Cruz's stance is simple. Cheating endangers lives, so there should be zero tolerance. But the sanctioning bodies don't show that urgency. They show urgency only when a fighter is late on a payment. And that contrast exposes everything. These organizations aren't prioritizing fighter safety, fairness, or integrity. They're prioritizing the fighter's wallet. In boxing's current landscape, the crime is endangering your opponent. The crime is not paying your fee.
0.6%, which is $300,000, with $225,000 going to the Jose Sulaiman Boxers Fund, which is to help former fighters in need. And it is just regrettable. Not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route. No response. I wish him the best. But this is not. The WBC is huge, is great.
So what happens now? The WBC is trying to move on at lightning speed, ordering a fight between Hamza Shiraz and Christian Bilai to fill the suddenly vacant throne. They want a new champion crowned as quickly as possible, hoping fans will forget that the real, undefeated champion is still sitting outside the system, untouched. But even that plan is already cracking. Reports say negotiations for Shiraz versus Bilai are stalling, leaving the belt in limbo, floating without purpose, stripped of the value it once carried. By stripping Crawford, the WBC didn't damage Crawford's legacy. They damaged their own, because now, whoever eventually lifts that green belt won't be able to say they beat the man to earn it. They'll know, and the world will know, that all they really did was pay the fee the real champion refused to bow down to.
The president of the WBC, Mauricio Suleiman, does have a point, because historically it's always been 3%. That's what the fighters play, and that is what it is, and that's what it's always been. Obviously, a fight of this magnitude, which was being billed as Fighters of the Century, $50 million allegedly he got paid for that one. They don't want to take 3% off him. They said let's do 0.6%, which is $300,000. So I understand it, and that's just the way the system is. Don't tell me he's not paid the WBC sanctioning fees before, because he must have. But now what he's saying is, I don't want to pay that, because I want to, the Ring Magazine are the ones that have got it right. The Ring Magazine obviously is one of the most historic belts and considered the number one of the 4-belt era, the Ring Magazine, but they don't charge. So that's where he's at, and that's the point he's making. But then how did the WBC then make their money if they don't make commissions off? It's like everyone charges for everything. All the other sanctioning bodies would have charged him as well, whatever that was. So
it would appear to me that there's 5 sanctioning bodies, which would have been the WBC, WBA, the IBF, the WBO, and the Ring Magazine. That's why it's 0.6%. Because if you divide 3% by 5, you get 0.6%. I have very little respect for the WBC and the way they operate. I have very little respect for Mauricio Suleiman. I think they're a hypocritical, disingenuous organisation. But I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong with what he said there. And if it is indeed the deployment of those funds go to the well-being of fighters, we can't have an industry that constantly talks about the need to look after its own, and then when it gets to the top end of the tree, the top end doesn't want to pay.
What do you think? Was Crawford right to hold on to his $300,000 and toss the belt into the fire? Or should he have swallowed the fee to keep history neat and clean? Let me know where you stand. And that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss what's coming next. Drop your thoughts in the comments, share the debate, and stay tuned, because we'll catch you in the next video.